to make salsa now, with getting close to the end of the season, so I only have a couple of pounds of tomatoes for the fresh picking. There are all sorts of different varieties and all sorts of conditions and all of that, so I find that it takes a little more than a pound, like maybe a pound and a quarter of tomatoes for 1 jar of salsa. So I am going to figure this will make about 2 jars. These are Anaheim chilies, kind of on the small side. They're not all that hot. That's why I use them, because Peggy doesn't like hot food. Oh, and Peggy's homemade basket with all the produce. Wash the tomatoes and prepare the tomatoes. You pretty much use the whole tomato with the core and all. The only thing I remove is actual, rotten spots, cracks that have opened up enough to get mold or bugs in them. Also, I take out these bruises, these dark mushy spots, because they tend to have an off flavor. But for the most part, you pretty much keep the tomatoes whole. Like I said, I don't do much with the tomatoes. I cut out, icky spots. Just cut them out. Leave them whole. Even fairly small, mostly healed over cracks, I'll leave in. Cracks that are still open and juicy, I'll trim a little bit around them. But like these sorts of dry, healed cracks, I just leave them as is. I do remove stems though, you don't want to leave the actual stems in. A little bit of stem in this one. Don't have to cut out. That's a pretty ugly tomato, as they say, but it'll be just fine for making salsa. Okay, let's see how many pounds of tomatoes we have here. Get an idea how to gauge the rest of the ingredients. Oops. Looks like we've got 2 pounds 6 ounces, so that'll make just about 2 jars of salsa. For that number of tomatoes, I figure I'll use 6 chilies. And the chilies, these aren't very hot, but since Peggy has a very low tolerance for hot pepper, I remove all the seeds and membranes from them. And with these Anaheim chilies, if you take out all the seeds and the membranes, they're just a very, very slight heat, but still a very rich flavor. These are also, my own homegrown chilies. I generally find that if you plant a few chili plants, you get far more chilies than you can use. Even to have one cayenne plant out there that has probably grown enough cayenne peppers to last us for the rest of our lives just in this 1 year. So we'll just pull out all the mass of seeds and the membranes. I do this barehanded, even though everybody tells you not to handle chilies barehanded. These are fairly mild. I do get enough hotness on my hands though that I do have to remember not to stick my fingers in my eyes and things like that for a little while. So now we've got our chili peppers all cleaned and ready to go. And we have our tomatoes all cleaned and ready to go. A really important step here that I didn't really know about for a long time was that the tomatoes and the peppers need to be broiled. They need to be charred, really, to get the best flavor. And it makes an amazing amount of difference if you do that. So I arrange everything on a little baking sheet. I put the peppers in skin side up first and flatten them out a little bit. And the tomatoes, I usually start out with them stem side down. It doesn't really matter because everything's going to get turned. Just put them all on the baking sheet together. All our tomatoes and peppers ready to go in the oven. So I broil on high for as long as it takes.